I was bad at chess until I learned a few things. My opponent will play a great opening, but will play it quite inaccurately. I'll show you how to punish that. Secondly, my opponent will make a middle game mistake. He will create a backwards pawn for himself. I'll show you how to take advantage of it by blockading it and then attacking it. In the previous video, you saw how I played this game. And apparently I had a 96.5% accuracy, which is crazy. We just played the exchange Caracom. I explained to you why I didn't like this setup and why this move is a bit weird in my opinion. And after just some development and some play, if you want to see this in more detail, you can watch the video after this one. I said that my attack was faster than his attack. And after the sequence with this, which I didn't like at all, if you want to see why, you can watch the previous video after this one. And now we found this brilliant move. And after a couple of moves, my opponent just resigned. This was a -4 position. We played with 96.5% accuracy. So I'd greatly advise you watch that one after this one. But let's first make some puzzles, shall we? What am I seeing? First of all, I'm seeing that the queen cannot infiltrate because our king is a bit open. Second of all, I'm seeing that I can just take a pawn which attacks a knight, which is defended by a rook, but the rook isn't defended. So if you want to move the rook to defend it, you don't defend the knight anymore. And if you want to defend the rook, you should do it like this, but that's not really possible. Except if you sack the bishop. Probably the best line for him is takes, bishop, takes, queen. Oh no, that just sacks a queen. Yeah, I don't see how you defend this. Yeah, by sacking the bishop. Oh, and if I take, you take. Okay, I didn't calculate this all the way through, apparently. I think that I should take like this. If I take a bishop, you take a bishop, I have to run. You have check. I have to run, take. That's messy. Let's just take the bishop. Yeah. And we have a pawn and a free piece. So what am I seeing? I have a check with my queen. You are forced to play this. My knight is hanging after that, which is a bit annoying. Check. You have to go here, then I have check. You have to go here. Then I have pawn check, you have to go here. And then knight check, you have to take, queen take. I think that works. Check, 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 takes. I mean, and if you go here, I have pawn check, you have to go here. Then I have knight check, you have to take, and then queen takes. Which is a forced sequence. I have no clue why he stops the puzzle here. There's a lot more to play for. So, can I play? No. After this. So after check, here, check, here, check. You sag the rook takes. Your only move is to go here, after which I will play h5 check, which is the best move. Only one move. Then knight h5 check, best move. King has to take, and then queen takes mate. That's the sequence that I calculated. I have no clue why the puzzle stopped there. So let's go for another game. I will make a bit of space. Okay, Carcon again, I hope. Yeah, Carcon with this setup is not the most accurate, but you can still transpose to something that makes sense. In this position, I like developing this knight first and just, I mean, I will always be able to just develop my bishop. This is not a combative way to play against the Karakam. I prefer the Lankrit system, a opening that I want to dub my own, but that occurs without this move, and you just play for. Can I make moves? No, I can't. That's annoying.
Very annoying indeed. So let me take over. In a Carcom, we saw this, and usually a lot of players recommend knight to c6 first, but usually I prefer the knight on f4 first, and I mean, there's not much of a difference. My opponent plays c3. Maybe he thought I would play knight to c6 attacking this and he just wanted to be very solid already, but there's no need to defend the pawn. My opponent defends the pawn for no reason really. And here I go wrong. This was actually not in my course yet, I just added it. I played bishop to f4, which is fine, but after h3 I should have taken. I went back and the engine says o6 after queen to b6. Why? Because it puts a lot of pressure on my d pawn and on my b pawn. The point being that if I move my queen to c8 or c7, defending the b pawn, it destabilizes my d pawn. So a move like bishop to g5, putting a lot of pressure on my only defender, would be very annoying. But the only way to meet queen to d3, which pressures the d pawn and the b pawn, the only way to defend both is queen to d6, defending both. But that runs into knight to e5, which is why I should have taken. But forget all of that. In my course, I will recommend knight to bishop to f5 if my opponent plays c6 for a reason, which looks a lot like our Lankreed system. And I'll go over that very quickly. If you want to learn more about Lankreed system, I want to advise you to watch after this video, by the way, watch the video from yesterday and the day before. I will play against a Lankreed system, which is played quite inaccurately, and I'll demolish my opponent. And I'll play a Lankreed system my own and do very, very well in it and show you the venom and the potential of the Lankreed system. But now back to this line. After bishop to g5, now I can develop this knight and it's all the same. Queen to b6 can still be played, putting a lot of pressure on everything. But here I just have queen to c6, defending the b pawn, maybe defending the bishop, that doesn't really matter. And there is no threat to my center because you can't really attack my knight. That doesn't really matter now. So after you just develop, I can play h6, which can be quite annoying to find and memorize. The point is just that after knight to h5, which is actually quite annoying, especially if instead of h6 you played e6. After knight to h5, your bishop is dead for seemingly no reason. Maybe the best thing you could do is bishop to e4, and after takes and takes, why trade this bishop for that pretty bad knight? Even if it improves your knight a little, it could be kicked instantly, even so, quite a bad line. So you have to know this h6 ID. My opponent can develop, and we are down a couple of moves in development. But after e6, just solidifying everything, everything is so well defended. We have so much control in the center. He can castle, we develop our bishop. He does the same idea so that we cannot capture his bishop. We can castle now, and after rook to e8, just developing a rook, we have a6. And if you're not familiar with these types of structures, which you should be after you watch the video from yesterday, today, and the day before yesterday, this is a Carlsbad structure. Black has a pawn chain pointing towards here, so he will put his pawns up and put all of his pieces behind his pawns and expand and do a minority attack. So let's say we play something like b5 and we trade these bishops off somehow so that we gain access over b8. We can, for example, move a knight in there, which will put a lot of pressure. We can move our queen, we can move the rooks, control the semi-open file, play for the b4 pawn break after takes and the recapture. The d pawn will be weak. We can put a lot of pressure on the d pawn. We can also still march our a pawn, try to trade it off so that there is an isolated pawn here as well. And that's how you will create targets. And after this pawn breaks, takes, and for example, you win this pawn, now you just have a passed pawn in the center of the board, which is 4 moves away from queening, which is tremendous pressure in any endgame. So that's the plan from this structure. And if you want a quick look on the Longreach system, over here, we see a lot of the ideas that my opponent play come back. Bishop to d3, point being that we take away the f5 square. Our queen takes away the g4 square so that this bishop cannot be developed. So you develop this knight attacking this, but we can defend, and that's exactly the structure that my opponent played. And after knight to f4, gaining control over g4, trying to develop this bishop again, we have this great move, h3. And the bishop can simply not develop. And if instead of h3 we play knight to f3, which is quite a bad move, now the bishop can develop and we get back into what we saw in the game, kind of. After like knight here, bishop g4, h3, and bishop h5, it basically transposes into the game we got, I think. So this is Longreach system, a very nice setup. Here you will see that either my opponent would play a e5, which I recommend from the Caro-Kann side, and you will get into this types of position with an IQP. We will control the square in front of it and just put pressure, get active, castle, put our rooks on the open file and the semi-open file, controlling the pawn, attacking the pawn, trying to win this, and then start a majority attack to create a passed pawn. That's the plan to win this with white. Or, for example, you have lines with e6, but now the bishop is blocked. And this is kind of the position that we got in the game, except your bishop is a bit less active, and my light squared bishop is way more active and outside of my pawn chain. So we basically played against a Longreach system, but then with knight f3 first, so that we could develop our bishop, and the complete point of the opening is gone. It's dead. So that's what I want to learn you about the opening. If you like practical tips like this, subscribe for sure so you don't miss out. And let's get back to the video.
I don't think I have to be careful for all too much. This is not really scary. I can always stake with an attack on the queen. So, except if he couldn't move this knight with a check or anything, there shouldn't be anything quite too dangerous. Yeah, that's a move. So, we saw a couple of videos ago, I think two, if I'm not mistaken, that in this type of position, sometimes this move works, and if he takes, you can take, and the rook is hanging. Um, and you break the pin by attacking something more valuable than a knight. So after takes, you save your rook. I take here, rook goes over, I win a pawn, but you gain a lot of activity and I broke my structure, so let's not do that. I first want to win a tempo on your bishop. He shouldn't take. He should just go to like h4 or something, yes. And now I can just break the pin. A lot of the times the engine prefers d6 more, but I don't know, I think it's a weird position to play. And I should just trade off my bad bishop first before going for any more complications. And now I have to cough. Perfect. My new mic has a very nice mute button. So if I take, you take, I can just slide, and after takes f4, there's a weak diagonal. Is that enough? Probably not. So let's just castle and see what he does. Maybe you take my knight, maybe you take my knight, but I don't care. Yeah, you just develop. Fair enough. So now I can move my queen and just see what happens. He will probably just support his center, yeah. And I could do this, but that doesn't make sense because after takes, why did I move my queen? Maybe taking with the knight is my idea to play knight f5. So if I go here, what happens if you take first? I could take the bishop. And after takes and takes, I argue why is your knight here, but I don't want to trade everything. Let's just attack and see what he does. I think my king is very safe and solid. I don't care about his attacking IDs. They should never land. And if you play a learnchess system, you get into these types of structures, but a bit more aggressive and a bit more active. So I really, really recommend that opening because now you see like, what is he trying to attack? This is solid. That's not attacked. Your knight can't enter anywhere. If you trade this off, I do not care. I will have a pawn break and a target, and my minority attack is just far superior. I can just take the b file, make this pawn break. Yeah, but nothing is happening. How do I do this? If I do this, you take, the knight is not really hanging. Maybe I should trade bishops, maybe not. I don't know. If I do this, I'm not really setting this up. Knight in there. I wish that would come with an attack so that this is not annoying. Here takes, bishop goes over there, but after takes you defend this, so I have to take. Knight moves, and why did I damage my structure? And bishop here isn't even possible because I didn't take back your pawn. So probably making this pawn break, just taking with the queen. And if you don't make the pawn break, I will. I will probably take, argue why is this so weak. That's not a dumb move, fair enough. So takes, you attack my queen. Hmm. If I push, does that make sense? To just pressure the b pawn, which is easily defendable. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. Maybe put a knight here, and after takes and takes. Yeah, maybe now is the time to trade the bishops, because I have to move my queen anyway. Maybe now this makes sense, yeah. I didn't think about takes, knight goes in there. But that should not be a problem. And I can probably just maneuver my knight anywhere I want. Your bishop isn't defended, so I think you should take, indeed. And now I should be able to just break this open. Maybe go for this types of maneuvers, just pressuring this pawn, taking the open files, and there should not be any concern to my position. And I should have a quite easy attacking game from now. Yeah, I don't think you can allow this. Oh, what's the point of that? So, takes, queen takes, is that it? But who's defending this? And if you take, I can always knight takes. Oh, that's a problem. Cool, cool, cool. That's a good idea. Fair enough. So takes, takes, rook here. I just get forked. Um. Okay, so let's use my useless rook to defend this. If you take now, I can do whatever. A lot of moves work. I don't even have to defend it instantly. I could improve. Oh no, I cannot do that, obviously. So now that the c6 square is controlled, there are no forks. So I can play rook b8, trying to target a weakness. Maybe making this pawn break. If the knight moves after takes, queen takes, I have rook c4 with a good tempo. So that should be quite nice. I don't know. f6 feels a bit too weakening. But I don't know. We'll see what he plays. And a lot of the times I'm just pressuring my opponent and looking what mistakes he makes, instead of trying to force some sequence. Oh, you take. I didn't expect that, to be fair. So I can take this with the rook, still controlling this. If I take with the rook, knight d3, I can play rook b5, targeting a weakness, which is defended. And I should stop your pawn break. So maybe after this, you attack me, I just come forwards. You cannot push because I'll take. Is taking with the knight more sensible? I don't think so. So let's take, and I think that is d4 a threat? No, you can take and defend the knight. The point is that after d4, I attack the. Wow, that's weakening. I can attack your rook. Rook has to go. I can attack your queen. That's such a weakening move. So the point of this was I attack a queen, I attack a knight. But you can take, knight is defended, queen isn't attacked anymore. So I can attack your rook. Rook has to move. Then I can attack your queen. And my knight is in an awesome spot, just controlling all of your weaknesses. So I think I like that a lot. I mean, I understand that dislodging my knight from the center weakens my rook, but it's still defended. And there is no way to lure my queen away. And my knight is perfectly fine here. It's controlling the center quite well, and it can always rotate via d6 to c4, for example, if needed. And he still has to be careful. There are certain tactics that might work. If, for example, you move your rook up so that this one isn't defended by the rook, I can attack your queen. If you move your queen carelessly, let's say to d3, I think the d4 push works because this rook is undefended, so you cannot take and the knight is undefended. Yeah, so that's a sensible move. And now, what do I want to play? Do you have a thread is probably the most important thing. If you attack my knight, you waste a tempo and I wanted to go here anyway. So let's not do this on our own turn. He has to attack us first and only then we will move. Then he wasted an extra move. So I think I'm just attacking a weakness. If you push... I'm looking for some tactics, but I mean, this never works, so... The knight is still defended. If I go here, I don't know why. If I go like this, I don't think that makes sense. So what if I just attack the pawn, you push the pawn? Does this push make sense? Takes. Maybe with a knight here, the queen has to move. I can push, and if you take, I have knight takes. This is less defended. Maybe in the future that makes sense. So let's just put a rook on an open file, and we'll see what he plays. There is no need for us to try and dislodge his complete position and just force our win yet. There's no need for that. Let's just improve and we'll see. And a move like b4 looks tempting, but it's quite bad. Yeah, this pawn is horrible. So I can just calmly move back. I do have to stop this pawn break, which maybe I cannot do. So I think now is the time to retreat our knights and maybe move to d6, just controlling this pawn break. I'm thinking of ways to maybe force a kingside attack because you weakened a lot of things in your position. But after this, I think we're doing great. You just have such an ugly pawn. Nothing is defending this. If you play a move like that, um, I don't really understand the plan. Pressuring this doesn't matter, so let's just move to where we wanted to move. I mean, this is well defended. I'm not really scared. So I just want to trade these knights, and after takes and takes, for example, I attack the queen again, I attack this pawn, I make sure it's immobile. I have check if I need it, but I don't see a way that it is actually useful. Maybe just to gain a tempo to play a5, to break his whole structure apart, but This is a middle game lesson that I want to learn to you. This pawn is very weak because it's not defended by any pawns. That's called a backwards pawn. The one most important thing about the backwards pawn is make sure it cannot move. Just make sure it cannot move. If it pushes, I have pawn takes, knight takes, knight takes, rook takes, queen takes. So I'm actually not stopping it from moving now. Which means that probably his best move is to push the c4 pawn to trade off his weakness. And if it's immobile, attack it. That's rule 2. But now it's not immobile, so I'll probably play knight c4 if he doesn't play c4. Knight c4 attacks this pawn, attacks the knight. Maybe looks at some important squares, but not yet. But he should really play c4. I don't know what he's thinking about. I think every move except c4 is just losing. You have to trade off this weakness. And I am not sure what I'm going to answer, to be fair. Can I kick your knight to remove a defender? But I think you can push your pawn. Oh, that should lose. Although after this you have knight c5, which is quite annoying, fair enough. I also have to think about this now, which is also quite annoying. So knight goes in, knight goes in. I can't trap your knight. By the way, now I have this move. Just attacking your queen. Queen has to move. mm, I don't know. One of these moves is the best move, for sure. After this and that. I could go for rook sack. No, I cannot, because you take this. So knight in there, knight in here. Rook to b6, getting off of that and defending my a-pawn. And after you probably have to defend this, I can... I'm not sure. So rook here, you have to probably defend this check. I can get my knight in here. Do you have infiltration? Not yet, but after this... I cannot take, you're attacking the pawn. Can I push? Just sag the pawn because you cannot take, because I'll take your knight. And you cannot push, that looks good. That looks good. Rook here, queen moves. Knight here, you have to defend the pawn by moving the knight. I can push this. Just sag the pawn, but you cannot take, because after it takes, I have rook takes. And after, you have to allow... My knight is here, so takes is possible, I think, but after I come back, you have this. So I think I like rook over more. And maybe after the queen moves, I get some infiltration. I don't know. One of these has to be the best move. Yeah, I think I'ma trust my gut. I think that rook over is stronger, but I have no way to prove it. And it's very complicated, but I blockade the pawn, I attack a queen. It can be bad, and I cannot stop this, which is quite annoying. But I have this pawn break, which should be strong. I mean, it's difficult. It's very difficult. After something like knight here takes rook over, that's a fork. Okay. So there are still a lot of tactics in this position, obviously. We only gained 6. I wish I played a 2000 so I could get to 1900 this game, but we'll get there eventually. So my opponent has a good time advantage. He's spending a lot of time on a lot of these moves. I don't know if he just didn't see this coming, if he didn't calculate it yet. But I think I have good pressure. This rook isn't all too useful anymore. Yeah, stopping this check is good. I can attack your queen again. Is that useful? I don't think so. I attack the queen, it moves. And I mean, this knight is going there, and that's quite troublesome. So let's just attack. You do not have any infiltration, which is awesome. You can infiltrate like this, though, but I can't stop it. And oh, that's your ID. Oh, I didn't see that at all. Um, take, rook takes. Take, check. Queen blocks. There's nothing. So I should probably just go back. Can you push c4 now? Oh, that's so annoying. Did I allow c4? I can, by the way, take. And after knight takes with an attack on the queen, I sacked a rook for a knight and a pawn. And a tempo. You have to move. That can be strong. So I have to go back, and I think I didn't succeed at blocking c4. c4 is very findable too because it stops that. Oh, that's so annoying. Yeah, I allowed it. So what now? I can't really attack your knight. Take is bad. So takes, knight takes. Mm, I can't push. I can't push. Queen moves. How do I keep my pawn and my knight alive though? Like, if this and you move here, it's perfect. I just play this, you have to move again, and then I'll be able to defend. But after this and that, my knight is hanging, my pawn is hanging. How do I defend both? After pawn here, queen there, knight in. Take the pawn. This is not a fork because of this rook. That's annoying. There has to be a way to achieve something. Counterattacking the knight doesn't work. Push here. Taking doesn't make sense. My time is running out too. I mean, I think I just have to take, which is very annoying. I really wish this works, but after queen d3, I don't see anything really. So, can't attack. What if I attack your knight? You take. Yeah, fair enough. Let's double the rooks. I'm running out of time too. This is getting annoying. You probably trade. And I don't know, I probably attack your queen side and play for a king side majority after. But it's difficult. I feel like his position is a bit better, but he has to prove it. And probably I had some chances, but I didn't see the way forwards. Hmm. I don't know if he can play queen b6, just sacking a knight to take my a pawn and argue that his b and a pawn are worth more than his knight. His knight is strong though, probably it doesn't work. I don't know, but it is a line. Queen b6, rook takes rook, knight takes rook, rook takes rook. Okay, so takes, 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 takes. I can force a queen trade, but I don't think that helps me. Is there anything after takes? Queen takes, take, 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 queen check, king moves. No. Attack the rook. Take, 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 take. I don't know. Push. I don't have time too, that's so annoying. Attack the rook. I don't know. Push this. Take is take. Take, 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 take. And then force a queen trades. Takes, takes. Hmm. I don't know. Let's see how the endgame goes. Takes. What about this? That probably loses. Knight takes. Is this useful? Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Worst case, this is still a queen trade, but I'm a bit more active. And after takes and takes, who's stopping me from this fork? Which could be valuable. So I don't know. Maybe I have some chances. But probably not. So your knight is hanging. If you defend it, I get check, move. Um, yeah, that's it though. Maybe this is a move, but after check, I have to go there. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this, just ask a trade, and after takes and takes, play the endgame. If you push, attack, go here, take, take. Can I stop that pawn? It's too risky. Mm, so I have check, one move. If I go here, take, take, you're forced to play this. I can bring my king. Maybe that's winning, actually. I'm not sure. But I'm preventing your pawn break, which is always valuable. And it takes a lot of moves for the c4 knight to attack my a6 pawn. I cannot defend it though, so take, take, you have outside pass pawn, but my king should be faster, so maybe I can win the pawn. Wait, does this not win a pawn? Oh, it's defended. Check, you move in. Oh, maybe this is losing actually. Maybe this is losing, goddamn. His king activates very fast and attacks my knight. Wait, but now I have this. Which wins a pawn. Not really. Hmm. Okay, I at least make a barricade. Still have a barricade. Pushes, takes, takes, and I stop your pawn. And if this is all through... Is this a move? Okay. So now your king cannot enter, and I have this. You always have check, which is very annoying. I mean, I cannot really stop it, can I? Yes, so I have to blockade the pawn. I can take this one if you're not careful, and these pawns can roll very fast. Takes, you go here, I defend my pawns. Oh, that's your plan. Um, I should find a way to maybe sack my knight and play two pawns for... Hmm. Push, go here. Take, take, push. I have an outside pass pawn there. I at least have chances. Yeah, I'm gonna play the outside pass pawn position. Take, push, get back, push. Now I have some counterplay. Oh, that's your ID. I mean, I can't stop you, so let's get back. Um, if I do this, you have check. Move, check. If I go here, check here. I think I made it, yeah. If he takes, he loses. If he just gives a check, I think I'm lost. Yeah, anywhere I go, you just push your pawn, move up, make a queen. I'm forced to take. Here, check. Only move. Queen. Only move. Um, Here, check, move. Check here. That's mate. So, I mean, let's at least try something, but well played to my opponent. He played a very good game. I cannot lie. Very, very good game. Yeah, and I block my own check, so the chance of him missing a fork with 7 minutes on the clock is quite low. I mean, I can only play a couple of moves. Maybe if you do something stupid, but that comes with a check, so yeah, this is quite that's not a dumb move. That hangs mate in one. Cool. So, how do I stop mate in one? God damn. That's a good move. I mean, I don't know, let's just play and we'll see. Oh, that's mate, cool. Yeah, well played. God damn. My opponent played a very good game. So let's see what the computer says. I think I have some misses. I should have been winning a couple of times. I have 6 mistakes and 4 inaccuracies. And my opponent has 1 blunder, 1 mistake, 1 miss, 1 mistake, and 6 inaccuracies, but yet we played at 2,100 and 2,400. So, first of all, I don't like this opening choice from my opponent. This is way better, where you go for this. Bishop out, I attack a pawn, you do this, I do this, so that my bishop cannot go here. Now I try to control this to put my bishop here, and you just play a6, and now you enter the Lunkert system. And I'm making a course on it. But he goes for knight f3. Now we're in the exchange, but you cannot stop my bishop from developing, which is way less combative. And I mean, this is not the best of moves, but I don't really mind. That's an inaccuracy already, and we just go for a nice setup. And the computer constantly wants to play this and just allow takes, because we can take, do this, do that, maybe longside castle, and he just argues you are in a lot of trouble. But it's only slightly better for us, and while making my car concourse, which I will publish as well, um, I saw that those lines are quite spicy, and the attacking moves to only draw the position aren't really findable for black. So after all of this, that's the best move. This is a completely equal position. After takes queen there. Taking is bad. I thought so, but I should have taken with the queen. After takes, don't take with the rook. I don't know, we should be slightly better because of the open files, but yeah, I mean, fair enough. So I take with the rook, I try to develop a piece. This is the best move. That's an inaccuracy. Yeah, we should have stopped this, I think. Fair enough. And now, yeah, that was a horrible move. I told you that that is weakening this a lot, and if we can't stop the advancement from the c-pawn, we're doing great. The best move here is to focus. God damn. Focus, and the only thing is distracting the queen, and you can take. Okay, that's disgusting. Fair enough. We can attack the queen first, though. Oh, we can. This is attack twice now. Fair enough. Oh, goddamn. And after takes, queen takes, rook takes here, yeah. We do get a lot of counterplay. I mean, after here, for example, we can take, and who's stopping us? Apparently that's a blunder. This is a fork. God damn. This is tactical. This is so tactical. I mean, fair enough. So that's an inaccuracy. We both don't see the tactic, and now we are just better. After one of the best moves, this is a mistake trying to stop. We should stop the pawn like this. Our knight here is doing a great job. Just pressuring the weak dark squares. We should have stopped the advancement with our useless rook. Which is valid, which is dumb from us. Yeah, here c4 is the only move. Rook in is the best move. My instincts were correct. Knight in looks good. It's fine, but apparently there's some counterplay here, which, I don't know. I calculated this. And here I just wanted to play this pawn break, and you cannot take, but I just get forked. God damn. Yeah, fair enough. So, rook up was better. Queen stopping my check is good, but this is a mistake. You attack my rook, I have to go back, and now I allowed c4, which was my complete idea that I cannot allow c4. This is the best move, and that's a mistake. I was winning or better with check here, and now this pinning, but it's defended, and probably I'm making a draw here. Yeah, I think the engine just wants to go for a draw. I mean, it's boring, but I mean, a queenside majority is an advantage. Your knight is way more active than my knight, your queen is way more active than my knight. I should have played this for a draw. But I thought maybe I can outplay him in this endgame. I really cannot. Oh, and I still had chances to draw this, but that's a mistake. This is a miss. This is a draw, but that's a mistake. Apparently I should have allowed all of this. And that's a losing endgame. Check, go back. That's a blunder. Takes. Oh, this is actually a draw. Best move. But taking this is a mistake. I should have gone for counterplay. And if you take, then I can take. Well, what if you try to push? How did he win again? This to go like that. What is my move here? Do I just try to go for this? Nope, 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 nope. Knight back? Best move, you go for this. What now? I have to find knight to e2. If I push this, I'm losing again. Yeah, I don't know if that's findable. If I do this, is that losing too? Nah, this is fine. Push the pawn to set up check and take, and now I get check. I go back. You have to go back, and this is just a draw. God damn it, that's difficult to see. So we do get outplayed. In the end game, well played to my opponent. He fought for it, and I didn't see my chances. Very, very good game. GG to my opponent. If you learned anything, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.